The number of properties reducing their asking price in Medway has just reached its highest monthly level of 2026. So is this the market slowing down? Are buyers gaining more control? And what does this mean if you are thinking of moving? Here's your Medway property market update for August 2026. Let's start with what happened locally during July. There were 2,241 properties available for sale across Medway, which was 338 more than in July last year. A further 520 properties came onto the market during the month. That was slightly down on June, but still 14 more listings than in July 2025. In terms of sales, 352 properties were sold during July. That was lower than the numbers recorded in May and June, and 45 fewer properties were sold than during July last year. The most significant figure, however, was the number of price reductions. A total of 371 properties had their asking prices reduced during July. That is the highest number of monthly price adjustments we have seen in Medway so far during 2026, and 96 more reductions than in July last year. So what are these figures telling us? There are still buyers looking to move, but they have far more choice available than they did a year ago. With more than 2,200 properties available, buyers can compare several homes before deciding which ones they want to view or make an offer on. That means properties which are well presented, marketed properly, and priced competitively can still attract strong interest. However, homes that appear overpriced compared with similar properties are likely to be overlooked. The high number of reductions does not necessarily mean property values are falling sharply. In many cases, it means the property was originally brought to the market above the level that buyers are prepared to pay. This is not just happening in Medway. According to Rightmove, the average asking price of a newly listed property fell by 1% during July, which is a reduction of £3,832. That brought the average national asking price down to £372,000, and the average July fall over the previous 10 years has been just 0.2%, so this year's drop was noticeably larger than normal. Rightmove believes several factors have distracted buyers, including the World Cup, and unusually hot weather, the traditional holiday season, and political uncertainty. The number of homes available nationally is 1% lower than at the same point last year, but stock levels remain very close to a 12-year high for this time of year. Sales agreed during the first half of 2026 were also 6% lower than during the same period in 2025, although they were level with the first half of 2024. This shows that buyers have not disappeared. They are still prepared to proceed when the right property becomes available at the right price. Rightmove's research found that nearly 3/4 of the homes sold so far during 2026 achieved a sale without needing a price reduction. That is why setting a competitive asking price from the beginning is so important. Zoopla has also reported a sharper than usual summer slowdown. Sales agreed were 9% lower during July, with activity down across 75% across the country and higher only a quarter of the areas. Annual house price growth has slowed to 1.3% compared with 1.7% a year ago, and more homes being available for sale means buyers have greater negotiating power. But Zoopla expects activity to pick up again from September, provided mortgage rates remain stable. Savills has described the current market as facing strong headwinds. Nationwide reported that house prices were effectively unchanged during June, with a monthly movement of minus 0.0%. Annual house price growth was 2.2%, up from 1.7% in May, but meaningful price growth in the short to medium term appears unlikely, while buyer confidence remains fragile. Mortgage approvals for house purchases fell to their lowest level since November 2023 during May, and approvals for new purchases were down by 15%, while remortgage approvals were down by 35%. Completed transactions usually follow mortgage approvals by 1 or 2 months, so these figures could result in fewer completed sales over the coming months. Sales agreed after fall-throughs were also 13% below the 2017 to 2019 average during June, according to 20CI. Price changes among properties already on the market were 28% higher than the 2017 to 2019 average, while property withdrawals were 10% above the same average. The points towards a market where a large number of sellers are competing for a more limited pool of motivated buyers. There has been some positive news around mortgage rates. The average rate for a 2-year fixed rate rose to around 5% in April before falling back to approximately 4.6% by the 1st of July. Rates remain higher than they were at the beginning of 2026, but lenders are still competing strongly for business. Wages are also continuing to rise faster than house prices, which should gradually help affordability while unemployment remains low. So what does all of this mean if you are selling a property in Medway? The market is still moving, but your home needs to stand out from the competition. The first few weeks after launching are normally when your property receives the most attention. Starting too high can reduce the inquiries, waste that initial momentum, and leave you relying on a later price reduction to generate interest. Your asking price should be based on recent comparable evidence, current buyer demand, and the other properties your home is competing against today. Professional photography, strong presentation, detailed marketing, and effective viewing strategies are also essential, but they cannot fully compensate for an asking price that buyers consider unrealistic. For buyers, the current market offers more choice and in some cases more room to negotiate. However, realistically priced homes in desirable areas can still attract competition. Make sure you have your mortgage agreement in principle ready, understand your monthly costs, and are in a position to proceed when the right property becomes available. It may also be worth revisiting homes that have recently been reduced, as the seller may now be more open to an offer within your budget. My view is this is not a market where properties cannot sell. It is a market where buyers are becoming more selective and increasingly focused on value. The record number of reductions in Medway shows that sellers need to listen carefully to what the market is telling them. Pricing correctly from the outset does not mean giving your home away. It means creating enough interest to generate viewings, encourage offers, and put yourself in the strongest possible negotiation position. With activity expected to improve from September, the next few weeks are an important time for sellers to review their asking price, presentation, and overall marketing strategy. If you are thinking about selling a property in Medway, or your home is already on the market but not attracting the interest you expected, then please get in touch. I'll be happy to help and provide an honest review of your property in the current market, its asking price, and current marketing strategy. You can contact me on 07557 783 325, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.